Do you truly believe that your spouse entered your life merely out of love? Or is there a deeper secret, an invisible thread pulling two souls together across countless lifetimes? Welcome to Light of Compassion, where we explore the profound truths of Buddhist teachings, unraveling the mysteries of the soul and karma to bring light to your journey of awakening. If you're seeking understanding that transcends what the naked eye can see, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video from our channel. For every story we share is a torch illuminating your path. Marriage, as the Buddha taught, is never an accident. It is the result of karma, of seeds sown long ago, sprouting into lessons you cannot escape. In Buddhist philosophy, everything follows the law of dependent origination, Paikasamupta. Every arising depends on a cause, and your marriage is no exception. Perhaps you think you chose your spouse with your heart, but the shocking truth is this. Your soul chose them before you took your first breath in this life, not to fulfill a dream of love, but to confront yourself. Step into a long tale, where I will guide you through 6 hidden truths about karma in marriage, each truth a door to enlightenment, but only if you dare to look into the mirror. I will tell this story as if you're sitting before an old Zen master, hearing whispers of truths the world often forgets, and I will unveil each secret with urgency, as if every word could change how you see the person beside you. First, understand that karma guides your soul, not your mind. You didn't meet your spouse by chance. You were drawn to them by an unseen force, a contract signed in distant lifetimes. Picture a man stepping into a temple, his face weathered, his eyes heavy with sorrow. He asks the monk, "Why did I marry someone who makes me feel like a prisoner?" The monk smiles, not with pity, but with deep understanding. Karma doesn't bind you to comfort, he says. It binds you to clarity. The person you marry isn't the one who completes you. They are the one who awakens the unfinished work in your soul. Have you ever wondered why your heart stays for someone, even when your logic screams they are not right? In Buddhist teachings, attraction isn't just emotion, it's the resonance of karma. Perhaps in a past life, you vowed to be with them but broke that oath, and now, the universe brings them back for you to mend. Or maybe you owe them a debt of pain, and marriage is the stage for that debt to be repaid. The Buddha taught that every action leaves a mark, and the person you marry carries the imprint of your past, not to punish, but to teach you. Think of a quiet woman, drawn to a man who makes her cry more than smile. Friends warn her. Her mind resists, but her heart follows. Why? Because her soul recognizes him, not for his beauty, but for his burden. Her marriage isn't love at first sight. It's the recognition of an unfinished lesson. In meditation, you might glimpse memories from past lives, not as fantasy, but as fragments of truth. Someone once asked during a Dharma talk, "Why do I feel like I've known my husband forever?" The teacher replied, "Because your soul did." Marriage isn't arranged by logic or romance. It's arranged by karma. You marry who you marry because your soul recognizes a task to complete, a bond to honor, a lesson to master, or a mirror to face. Imagine standing before a river, seeing your reflection but not recognizing it. Your spouse is that river, and every time you blame them for your suffering, you forget they are only reflecting what's already within you. Karma doesn't care about fleeting happiness. It cares about lasting awakening. When you enter marriage, you don't just enter a relationship. You enter a sacred contract with your own soul, where every moment, joy or pain, is an invitation to grow. You might think love is why you stay, but karma whispers a different truth. You stay because you haven't learned the lesson yet. And that lesson isn't in the other person. It's in how you respond, how you love, and how you let go. Let me tell you about a couple passing a monk in silence. They bicker over something trivial, a forgotten promise, a delayed errand. Outsiders might think they're mismatched, but the monk sees deeper. Their mismatch is karmically precise. They are fated to be together, not to live in eternal harmony, but to face the seeds they sowed long ago. Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship, wondering why you can't leave? It's not blind love, it's karma holding you until you understand. In Buddhist teachings, samsara, the cycle of rebirth, isn't just of bodies but of emotions, desires, and debts. If you break a promise in one life, that promise seeks fulfillment in another. Marriage is often karma's sacred attempt to balance broken vows. You may not remember what you did, but your soul does, and the person you marry is the one your soul chose to recall. Now, let's move to the second truth. Marriage reflects your inner state. Your spouse isn't just someone you love. They are a mirror reflecting everything you carry: pain, joy, insecurity, and unhealed beliefs. You think you married them for their smile or kindness, but the shocking truth is this: you married them because they reflect you. A woman once confided to a monk, "He always criticizes me. He never thinks I'm enough." The monk asked, "Before he said that, did you already believe you weren't enough?" She nodded, and the monk whispered, "Then is not the cause, is the mirror." In Zen, it's said, when the mind is still, the world reflects clearly, but when the mind carries doubt, even love feels like judgment. Have you ever noticed that the things that hurt you most in marriage are the things you've long feared? Your spouse doesn't create that fear. They make it visible. Imagine stepping into a house with walls of mirrors. Every word, every action from your spouse reflects a part of you that you haven't faced. If you feel rejected, perhaps you've rejected yourself long before. If you feel unloved, perhaps you haven't learned to love yourself. In Buddhist teachings, everything external is a manifestation of the internal. The person you marry embodies your inner state, and every conflict in marriage is an invitation to heal. You can't change the mirror by shouting at it. You must purify your mind. Think of a man who feels his wife is distant, cold. He blames her, but one day, in meditation, he realizes he built walls long ago, fearing hurt. His wife isn't pushing him away. She's reflecting the distance he's carried. Marriage, from a Buddhist perspective, is a chance to see yourself clearly, but only if you dare to look. Have you ever wondered why some couples seem perfectly in sync, while others struggle endlessly? The secret lies in consciousness. The more you heal your inner wounds, the calmer your mirror becomes. The more you avoid them, the more distorted it appears. Marriage doesn't bring a stranger into your life. It brings the truth about you. And that truth, though painful, is the door to freedom. Imagine standing before a still lake, seeing your reflection. If the water ripples, the image shatters. Your mind is the same. When it's turbulent, your spouse reflects that chaos. But when you find stillness, through meditation or awareness, the mirror clears, and love ceases to be a battle and becomes a dance. You don't marry someone to make you happy. You marry them to show you what's blocking your own happiness. In Buddhist teachings, desire is the root of suffering, and marriage, when born of unconscious desire, amplifies the lesson until you awaken. You may think you want love, but karma knows you need truth, and your spouse is the one who brings it, whether you're ready or not. The third truth is that the lesson comes before peace. You enter marriage dreaming of joy, companionship, and endless happy days, but karma has other plans. Marriage is often a fire, burning away the illusions you hold about love, yourself, and the world. Have you ever wondered why the most painful moments in marriage are the ones where you grow the most? A couple once visited a monastery, deeply in love but constantly fighting. The man asked the Zen master, "We love each other, so why do we always argue?" The master replied, "You met in love, but you're not ready. She's still becoming the person who will understand you, and you're still shedding the person who can't accept her." Karma doesn't just decide who enters your life, it decides when. Two souls may be perfect in essence, but if one is still evolving while the other is ready, harmony breaks. In Buddhist teachings, timing is everything. You may meet the right person, but if your mind is still full of ego, love becomes a battlefield. Think of a woman who loves a man deeply, but every day with him is a struggle. The world sees them as a perfect match, but inside, she feels like she's trying to hold water in open hands. Eventually, she realizes their love is real, but their timing isn't. Karma brought them together too soon, before she learned to stand alone, before he learned to release his fear of hurt. Marriage isn't a reward for loving, it's a forge for refining you. You may want peace, but karma knows you need growth first, and growth rarely comes without friction. Imagine a candle marrying the wind, as in a parable a monk once told. The wind asks, "Will you love me even if I blow you out?" The candle replies, "Yes, for only in darkness will I know the strength of my flame." Karmic marriage is like this. You don't marry someone to shelter your flame. You marry them to discover it, even if it means facing the dark. In Buddhist teachings, everything is impermanent, including relationships, but what you gain through them, wisdom, compassion, awakening, can be eternal. Have you ever noticed that the happiest couples aren't those who never fight, but those who use friction to understand each other and themselves more deeply? Marriage doesn't promise ease. It promises truth, and truth often comes through fire. When you learn the lesson, forgiveness, letting go, or loving without clinging, peace follows, but not before. Karma isn't in a hurry, it's patient, and it will keep you in the forge until you're ready to step out, not as a victim, but as an awakened soul. The fourth truth is that letting go can be sacred. You might think a failed marriage is a tragedy, but what if it didn't fail? It completed? A woman once came to a Zen garden, tears streaming down her face. She said, "I stayed in my marriage even as I died inside." Was that noble? The old teacher placed a lotus in her hand and whispered, "That was clinging disguised as loyalty. Your marriage was the mud, your healing is the bloom." In Buddhist teachings, letting go isn't failure, it's freedom. When a marriage's karma is fulfilled, staying only breeds suffering, not growth. Have you ever felt a relationship end and your heart lighten, even as your mind wrestled with regret? That's your soul recognizing the lesson is done. Think of a divorced man, feeling he failed because he couldn't keep his wife. He sought a monk, who said, "Marriage isn't about keeping someone by your side. It's about becoming someone who no longer clings." The purpose of marriage isn't its form, it's the chance to awaken. Some marriages last a lifetime, some last a lesson, but all carry a message. You may fear leaving because society calls it failure, but karma doesn't care about worldly labels, it cares about your liberation. Imagine a bird trapped in a cage, wings beating against the bars. When the cage opens, it may hesitate, fearing freedom. Your marriage might be that cage, and letting go is the moment you learn to fly. In Buddhist teachings, compassion includes loving yourself, and sometimes, loving yourself means walking away from where you no longer belong. Have you ever heard the story of two souls who loved deeply in one life, but one left without explanation? In this life, they meet again, but now the one who left becomes the one abandoned. That's karma's quiet justice, not to punish, but to restore. When you let go with gratitude, seeing that the relationship, however painful, saved its purpose, you break the cycle of suffering. Marriage doesn't need to last to succeed, it needs to awaken you. Think of a woman forgiving her husband who betrayed her. She didn't do it for him. She did it to free herself from lifetimes of emotional imprisonment. A monk once said, "The most powerful act of love isn't holding on, it's letting go with peace." When you walk away with compassion, you tell the universe the lesson is learned, and the suffering need not repeat. Marriage, from a Buddhist view, isn't a destination, it's a doorway, and sometimes, you must walk through alone to find the light. The fifth truth is that you can change your karma by becoming conscious. You're not a victim of your past, you're the creator of your future. Every moment in marriage is a chance to love, forgive, and release. And when you do so with awareness, you stop attracting pain and start attracting peace. Think of a woman weeping to a nun, "Why do I always attract men who abandon me?" The nun replied, "Because your soul hasn't yet learned to stop chasing silence and start embracing your own voice." In Buddhist teachings, external experiences mirror inner realities. If you keep meeting spouses who hurt you, it's not fate, it's repetition. Your soul is seeking to resolve a pattern, not escape it. The secret isn't in finding a new person, but in becoming a new presence. Have you ever noticed that when you change, when you forgive yourself, when you learn to love without demanding, the people who enter your life change too? Marriage becomes less painful as you become more conscious. Imagine a man who always felt misunderstood by his wife. He blamed her, but one day, in meditation, he realized he'd never truly voiced his needs. When he began communicating with honesty and compassion, she began to listen. Karma isn't a sentence, it's an invitation. In Buddhist teachings, awakening breaks the cycle of samsara. When you become aware of your patterns, clinging, fear of abandonment, or believing you're unworthy, you start rewriting your story. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to find love effortlessly, while others struggle endlessly? The secret isn't luck, it's awareness. When you love without grasping, when you forgive without resentment, you shift your soul's energy, and the universe responds by bringing relationships that reflect your healing. Marriage is a forge, but you're the smith. Every choice you make, holding on or letting go, blaming or healing, shapes your karma. Think of a couple who come together not to fill each other, but to serve the world together. A teacher once said, "When two souls marry not to possess each other, but to give together, Karma bows in reverence. Such marriages, though rare, prove the power of consciousness. They don't just end cycles, they uplift humanity. You have that power too, not by changing your spouse, but by changing yourself. In meditation, you learn to observe your mind without being swept away. And in marriage, you learn to love without being trapped. When you become conscious, you stop repeating old patterns, and marriage becomes a path to freedom, not a loop of suffering. Finally, the sixth truth: marriage isn't the goal, awakening is. You might think marriage is the pinnacle of love, but in Buddhist teachings, it's merely a vehicle, a ship carrying you across the ocean of karma to the shore of enlightenment. Whether your relationship lasts or breaks, it's only part of the journey. The real journey is always within you. Imagine a monk in his final sermon, telling his disciples, the goal of marriage isn't to keep the other person, it's to become someone who no longer clings. Marriage isn't sacred for its form, it's sacred for its chance to awaken. Have you ever felt that your marriage, happy or painful, is trying to tell you something deeper? That's karma's whisper, urging you to look inside. In meditation, you learn that everything is impermanent: bodies, emotions, relationships. But the wisdom gained through them is eternal. You've reached the end of this story with light of compassion, but your journey is just beginning. If these words have touched your heart, join us by hitting subscribe now. Don't forget to turn on the bell to keep receiving doses of light and wisdom that bring you closer to awakening. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and let's light the path ahead together. Marriage isn't where you find answers, it's where you learn to ask questions. Have you ever noticed that the moments you feel most hurt in marriage are the ones where you're closest to truth? When you're betrayed, you learn forgiveness. When you're rejected, you learn self-worth. When you lose love, you learn that true love never vanishes, it transforms. Marriage is a mirror, but awakening is the light that reveals it. Think of a couple who loved passionately, but one day realized their love wasn't about keeping each other, it was about helping each other grow. They parted, not with bitterness, but with gratitude, knowing their relationship had fulfilled its purpose. In Buddhist teachings, nothing is a failure if it leads to awakening. You may enter marriage dreaming of eternal happiness, but karma has a grander dream, freeing you from illusion. Every smile, every tear, every kept or broken promise is part of that journey. You don't marry someone to complete you. You marry them to discover you were whole all along. Imagine walking a long road, your spouse a traveler you meet along the way. Some walk with you to the end, others join for a stretch, then turn aside. But the road to awakening, is yours, and yours alone. Marriage, in its deepest truth, isn't a destination, it's a reminder that you're on a journey, and every step, painful or joyful, brings you closer to yourself. Thank you for joining Light of Compassion today. Keep following, for the light of compassion will always be here to guide your way.